estimated that the world's peat bogs store up to 455 gigatons of carbon. But the ability of these living landscapes to fix and store atmospheric carbon dioxide is being undermined by industrial pollution, agriculture and the use of peat as fuel. I'm Amanda Burrell and I'm in the Peak District of England, where an environmental restoration group is trying to halt this destruction and to bring these bogs back to their former glories. Hello.
Hi.
Chris.
It is, yeah. Amanda.
Hello.
Pleased to meet you.
You too.
Yeah.
What a beautiful part of the world it is here.
It's fantastic, yeah, it is fantastic. This is a piece of moorland, this is Bleaklow Moor that we're on here. It's one of the iconic moorlands of the Peak District. And what we're standing on, what we should be standing on, is peat.
Peat bogs are formed from the remains of sphagnum moss plants, which do not decompose in the waterlogged conditions. But this sphagnum is very sensitive to air pollution, which kills the moss and results in less new peat being formed. This also means that the bog loses a vital layer of protection, resulting in the erosion of the existing peat. All around the world, peat is a vital store of carbon, and this erosion releases carbon dioxide and accelerates climate change.
This piece of peat we stood on here is exposed. There's something going wrong if there isn't plant material growing on the top of it. For a period of about 200 years, the towns, especially upwind, which is Manchester, were all fired by coal. And a lot of that coal smoke has ended up being deposited here. And the result of that is that it's really acidified the peat. And because it's so acidic as that bare peat, nothing will germinate in it. Well, what we've got here is a small patch of sphagnum moss, which has taken quite a bit of finding.
And actually it feels completely different standing just on this tiny patch.
Yeah.
It's wet and soggy, and I think I'm about to get a bit of a wet boot actually. What's so important about sphagnum?
Well, sphagnum's really important because it's a bog building plant. So all of this peatland landscape that we're stood in has been formed by this little plant.
The challenge is to try and reintroduce sphagnum and encourage it to grow all over the moors again, is it?
It is, yeah. It's very difficult to get sphagnum to recolonise because it spreads vegetatively, and that's too slow for us because it'll take hundreds of years to recover these areas where it's disappeared from.
Vegetative reproduction is a form of asexual plant reproduction. To combat the slow rate of growth, a company called Micropropagation Services are developing innovative techniques to help return the moors to their natural state.
Hello, you Neil.
Hello.
Amanda. Hello, good to meet you.
Reintroducing these native species helps stabilise the bare peat, slowing down the rate of erosion.
So these are called plug plants because they're literally kind of blocking the disintegration of the moor.
They're actually called plug plants because of the plug of compost that they're grown in.
Oh, sorry.
Once an area of moorland is stabilised, the real difficulty is then getting sphagnum moss growing again. Neil and his team have developed a pioneering technique which involves growing the sphagnum into beads, which can be spread across the moors.
There we are. This is one of our growing rooms.
Yeah, really high-tech jam jars.
We eat a lot of honey around here.
Okay. So why have you brought me here?
Okay, well this is where the sphagnum starts off its life in the production process, and here we have some cultures of sphagnum just beginning to grow quite nicely. Taking it out of this jar and trying to plant it would be extremely difficult, so the bead technology is the critical bit. Each one of those beads has a number of tiny little moss plants in it, ready to grow as soon as they're put out on the moor, and the bead gives them protection from the environment while they're adapting.
Right.
The Moors for the Future team hope that the sphagnum beads could be the key ingredient for restoring this critical ecosystem.
That way.
Yeah.
That way.
How do you get this out of here?
I don't know if I wanted to take them out of there and maybe you put them in.
You don't trust me, do you?
No.
I only broke one plastic box so far. Thank you. This helicopter's taking up plug plants and sphagnum beads to a site on the moor a few kilometres away. The plug plants to some pretty inaccessible areas. So the best way of getting there is up in the air.
From the sky, it's easy to see the scale of the issue. with huge areas of exposed bare peat. Already, the team have planted 500,000 plug plants. Once these have stabilised the bog, the next step is to spread the sphagnum beads.
Hi Chris,
Hello.
look what I've got.
Oh, jolly good. That's just what we
Sphagnum.
need.
Well, it's amazing to think that these tiny little things have got the power in them to reverse those 200 years of pollution
Yeah,
damage.
it's fantastic,
Yeah.
isn't it? So it's just a case of putting...
Simple.
Yeah, that's simple, really.
200 million beads have already been scattered, and the aim is to restore 2,000 acres of moorland by 2015.
We will be able to reintroduce sphagnum now into this environment and bring it back into a state fairly close to where it was before atmospheric pollution started wrecking it, really.